This is a Poet Punch podcast. We recording?
We are recording now. Hello.
Oh my god, it's a guest that isn't rude.
I know, it's crazy.
Holy fuck.
Who could it be?
I don't know.
I don't know. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely.
Stranger.
Do we usually introduce
Someone's
the podcast?
just kind of walked into the... No, we don't do that.
We don't do that here? No,
we don't
Okay.
do anything, really. We
All
could just
right.
kind
Well,
of...
I'm happy to be here on the Freaky Feige podcast where we do pitches in an elevator, where we're just doing random Marvel stuff.
Yes.
And my name's Bri Power, and yeah, I'm happy to be here.
That's very nice. We're happy to have you.
Yeah.
We're happy to have a new guest.
Mr. Feige can budge up a bit in the
Yeah, it's
elevator
fine.
and then make space.
Hey, Kev.
Hey, Kev. you
going.
go way back.
Kevin Feige.
New podcast law.
Yeah.
Brian knows Kevin Feige
Yeah,
personally.
Yeah,
both,
I do, actually.
both American.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, you
both
know,
American.
famously, all Americans know each other.
Yeah.
It's such a small country.
It's a very tiny like blip on the.
A nice little tight-knit community we are.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong.
Everyone loves each other. In
Everyone
that
loves each other.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
Famously
We're
so.
going to move on from that.
So,
Cut back.
so Nat and I have been talking about this character for a while.
So when I pitched this podcast, right, it's mainly because I saw 3D Man and 8-Ball and thought, how would you even introduce these characters into the MCU?
Yes.
Like how would you even fathom a
8-Ball
pitch?
doesn't have any powers, right?
No, 8-Ball's just a guy that knows propulsion technology.
Yeah.
And that's
And
it.
is into gambling.
And is into gambling.
Oh, cool.
It's specifically
Me?
into gambling over pool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's unique like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, 3D Man.
And now, finally, for the first time ever,
Let's go.
we
This is
shall
actually
find
hype
out.
as fuck. Yeah.
All right.
3D Man.
Okay.
Have you guys not read this yet?
No.
I read this page.
We've
That's all
never.
I know.
You read this?
I read
Wait,
this
no.
page.
Would you like to tell us about 3D Man?
So, if I remember correctly,
Resident expert on 3D, man.
So, from the one page I read 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, 3D Man
Someone did research for the
is
fucking
a
pod.
guy who has a twin brother who I believe they are separate beings, and then once they can like subsume into the same being, then they gain powers.
Oh,
I
so it's
believe-
like when
It's like a projection of himself, but is also just like his brother or something. I don't know. We can read this page and see. That's what I remember, but that's all I know.
That's insane.
But
Okay,
let's
so
read and
it's
see
kind
how-
of so it's
how
kind
it,
of like Firestorm in DC. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess,
like-
yeah, a little bit. Let's
Okay.
see. Well, let's see if I'm correct.
No,
though.
you are. The like first page is like the first bit is like the 3D Man was a 1950s hero who came through the unique merger of two brothers, Hal and Chuck Chandler.
What a great name.
That's really good. Yeah. Chuck was a test pilot who was abducted by alien Skrulls. Okay, during a test
Skrulls.
flight.
Big.
Earth was seen as strategic location in the ongoing conflict between the alien Kree. Interesting. Okay, we gotta get Ronan and
We're getting a
Destroyer in
little
there.
bit of Captain Marvel. in here.
Earth's space program and captured Chuck's. Oh wait, sorry, Kree location ongoing. I don't know information on Earth's space program. Interrogate him. Chuck resisted and escaped, accidentally causing the explosion of the Skrull spacecraft in the process, while his brother Hal watched. Sorry, am I supposed to read this whole thing?
Yeah,
Yeah, let's go for it. Why not? Why not?
As much as you want.
Okay, so far we have Chuck was captured by aliens in like an interplanetary conflict, then escaped. The explosion happened. There was a bunch of radiation. Hal was watching, and then Chuck disappeared. Hal later discovered, however, that the light burst had imprinted an image of Chuck on the lens of Hal's eyeglasses.
Wait, what?
So basically, like, you know the images of like the Hiroshima like shadows from the explosions?
Oh, right.
fuck.
Or
So
like how
these
Pompeii
scroll
people are still kind
the
of
scroll explosion left an imprint
on his glasses.
because they said radiation specifically, so an imprint on Hal's eyeglasses.
Yeah.
So Chuck exists in the eyeglasses. Interesting.
What
okay.
the wait, is in his brother died and now is imbued in the glasses.
Through concentration, Hal could merge the images to cause Chuck to appear as a three-dimensional man. Chuck became the costume adventurer known as 3D Man and single-handedly subverted the Skrulls' early attempts to undermine earthly civilization. So, Chuck died in a Skrull explosion, imprinted on Hal, and now Hal is the only one who can summon him into existence.
Oh, so,
So
it's
it's kinda like a
if
summoning
it's
of a
like if,
Pokemon,
well, it's
but
like
it's your
if,
brother.
Yeah,
It's like if Green Lantern was a character that comes out of the ring, but the guy who has the ring has no powers.
And they're both called Hal.
Yeah.
Oh, Hal and Chuck, yeah.
Yeah. Well, but Hal Jordan and Hal Chandler.
Do you know what? That's actually
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
That's actually a really kind of interesting premise. The idea of like
What, Green Lantern?
Of like
or just
you're the superhero, but you're still beholden to like me, who can like turn you on and off whenever I feel like it. And so if they had a falling out in the movie or something,
I think
that's
it would be
usually
like,
yeah,
I
you're
turn
off.
you off.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a Black Mirror episode about the woman who is terminally ill and is dying, so she gets her like engram put into her daughter's teddy bear so that she can be with her daughter and watch her grow up.
Is that the Miley Cyrus one?
No.
Okay.
It's where, and then the husband of the woman eventually starts seeing new people and figures out that the bear has like a pause button so it can pause the consciousness.
Oh, interesting.
And so that he starts like pausing stuff when he's having his like girlfriend over, so she doesn't see and know about it and stuff.
Right.
But then the pauses get longer and longer as they start forgetting about her.
Ooh.
So eventually it cuts from like her seeing her daughter like there, and then it cuts to like she's quite a bit older, and like it's like, oh hey mom.
Oh, you
and
can
it's
almost,
I think
you can almost do a Moon Knight with this.
That's what came to mind as well.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think two things. I had a really good idea, but first, just pouncing on that, you could play with like when Hal is not summoned. Is he in like a weird, frightening state of like limbo, like where he's like kind of like where he just.
I want to discuss something here, which is how are we distributing this? Because I love the idea of being like, here is a Marvel movie where you have to wear 3D glasses.
That is good.
But only half the time. Like the idea of just this really annoying intermission being like, you must now take your 3D glasses off.
I think you do
as the 2D version.
Classic wearing like the blue and red 3D glasses the entire time. You put that.
Actually, no. The way I would do it is that the entire movie is only in 2D, except for when he comes out of the glasses and is 3D man.
Yeah.
And he's in the red, red and blue or red, or red and green, like 3D, and you have to wear the glasses only so that he is 3D
That would actually be kind of
in the
sick.
movie instead of.
I love that, but only if there's like blinking text being like goggles on,
like Spy Kids 3 or whatever. Spy Kids 4.
Have you seen the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy film?
No, I've not.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a scene where there's a hologram of like missiles. That is technically in 3D, and if you have 3D glasses, the hologram is in 3D.
Oh, that's
but
cool.
like the movie is not in 3D.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I like that idea. Real quick, just going down to like the actual storyline of it. So, is this in the MCU that we're doing? Like,
Yeah. The whole idea is that everything we do has to technically
Can I
fit in the
pitch
MCU
something that I
somehow.
think works really well with folding into the MCU? So we're talking about those like Hiroshima shadows, right? What if we do someone just outside of New York City was watching the void happen, and their brother got
you mean
voided,
from
void from Thunderbolts?
Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
So
okay.
so that person got voided, and so everyone comes back at the end of Thunderbolts, right?
Yeah.
Except for Chuck. Chuck got voided
because-
onto the glasses,
Yeah.
and something happened where now he's just in there, and like that's kind of he can only bring him back. I think that's interesting.
Oh, so,
Okay.
then he's like constantly in that mind world thing,
which is so messed up.
I think
Yeah.
also the implications of that, because it was just the circumstance of there's a guy who's wearing glasses and happens to be near his brother. How many people in New York have circumstantially been stuck in their own like worst day of their life because of this?
I think specifically it has to be not actually in New York. I think they have to be right on
the
edge,
outskirts,
on the ferry.
Literally on the edge of like where that shadow reached. Like Hal is on one side of it and Chuck is on the other side.
I would say that like it's probably on one of the bridges, like one of
Yeah,
the
so
Brooklyn
let's
Bridge
go
or
the
something.
GW Bridge, right? Or the
yeah,
Brooklyn Bridge. It's
yeah.
more iconic.
Yeah, and they're maybe escaping from
they're
the
on the
city
Brooklyn
or-
Bridge and they're running, and then Chuck falls. Hal is up ahead. Hal turns around, and the shadow voids him right onto his glasses, but it doesn't reach
Yeah, it's like
Hal. Yeah, it voids Chuck, but it doesn't
Yeah.
reach Hal. And then everything reverts, and everyone's celebrating. You get this really intense intro scene where everyone's celebrating, and then he's just like, "Where's my brother? Like, where my brother should be coming back." And then I think
How does 3D Man have this?
I
This
think
tragic origin,
also
but-
this is meant is the funny thing is that the place of origin is Los Angeles, but I think what you do is
fuck that.
You have him be like, fuck this. After that event, he's like, I'm getting out of here.
Oh,
Yeah.
kind of like in
Yeah.
Venom, where Eddie just goes, "I'm gonna be in San Francisco now."
well, that's
Yeah.
just so that to separate him from Spider-Man. But this
Yeah,
is, this is
the
actually like,
same-
I
the same,
had trauma.
like, yeah.
I lost my brother in New York, and a giant shadow monster took it over. I'm going to move to San Fran. I think you're absolutely right. That's good.
Los Angeles time.
But okay, so let's get into what the actual.
What's his background? Like, what were they saying? Like, is it military training? High school?
Well, Chuck was a pilot, was a military pilot, but we can also scrap that if we're doing that because the whole thing is that like
Yeah,
he went
it's
up with
more
the
just
scrolls.
let's see what it is, and then
He was a military pilot that was flying a test flight, and then he got kidnapped by Skrulls. And then when he was on the Skrull ship,
But is that just Chuck?
That's basically the Captain Marvel.
yeah, and then there was a
movie,
there was a Kree conflict. Yeah. Although I do think it would be interesting, as much as the Skrulls are kind of a sore spot in the MCU, I think it might be interesting to have a Skrull somewhere in this, just as like a little nod, even if it's just his roommate who's like. After Secret Invasion, just hiding out is like, I don't want anyone to know that I'm a Skrull because all this stuff happened.
It says that Hal has a wife.
Interesting. Yeah, could be a Skrull
wife.
Wife.
But I like the idea that Hal knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, and is just like fine with that.
Kind of like the Nick. If you ever watched Secret Invasion, which I'm the only person.
I think I watched 3 episodes.
I watched
until
20 minutes.
Maria Hill.
Yeah, Nick Fury's wife is a Skrull.
Oh, she dies in that?
Yeah, Maria Hill dies. Yeah,
Cool, I guess. Okay.
but Nick Fury's wife is a Skrull.
Right.
But like he knows, he's like because Nick Fury's worked with the Skrulls for so long. The whole point is that they met under the.
Sorry, it's just the way you saying "but he knows" made me think of like the trans panic defense, but it's the Skrull panic defense.
Well, then maybe we don't do the rehashing of that then with the wife and the Skrull and everything. Well, okay. What is the moment that Hal first summons Chuck?
I mean,
I think it's something to do with like trauma because of all like the stuff that they have to go through in that void space.
That makes me think. Okay, that my idea is a lot dumber. He's doing an eye test. He's at Specsavers and he's doing an eye test, and accidentally Chuck is like projected on the other side of the wall.
I think what it would be, it would probably be like...
I don't think this is a comedy. I
think there's a bit of a... It's 3D, man.
Yeah,
you gotta get... Okay, like, the guy is called 3D, man. You gotta be have a little bit...
I think there is comedy, but there's only comedy once Chuck is back. And then every time Chuck is gone, for whatever reason,
he's depressed and alone.
The tone is like down.
Yeah, it's kind of like a buddy cop, like, oh yeah, let's go and save the day, and then I'm so alone. No.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
Because there should also be something about like the fact that Chuck never gets the chance to sleep.
Yeah. Okay, this is a weird pull, but in Bo Burnham's Inside, when he does the the Sacco thing, and it's like, "Where have you been, Sacco?" And he's like, "I'm where I am when I'm not on your hand, in a frightful state between states of being, not quite dead, not quite alive. It's kind of similar to a constant state of sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Like I like the idea of like." Playing with that, but not when he's there. I love the idea that it's so camp and fun and Shazam-esque when he's out of the glasses,
or even like the Green Lantern.
Yeah,
movie.
it's just so like, over the top, but it's aware because then when it's not. It's
just to double check. So Chuck is the one that is technically dead / half dead, and then Hal is the always alive one.
Yes,
right. Okay, I like the idea of Chuck's motivations just being like, so I'm only like alive and conscious for 20 minutes, so these have got to be like the most fun and wacky and insane 20 minutes possible. Because there is going to be no there's just going to be nothing.
Yeah, well, I think he's in severe denial. Like, when I'm out here, I need to be just the biggest superhero, like the eye in the sky helping everyone because... Maybe he doesn't even realize it, that he hates being inside the glasses, and then, like, that'll be emotional fallout at the end where he's like, no, please don't put me back. But, like, that's the first time we get a glimpse at him not wanting to go back in. Because, like, when he comes out...
he actually, like, looks sad and isn't, like, front-facing.
Can you go to the Marvel page? Can we, to, like, villains or something? Can we pick, like, a wacky villain for this?
Roll a random villain.
You want to roll a random villain?
I think that'd be fun,
Why not?
Okay, fine.
I love this idea. It's stupid.
Fine. Okay.
So. Or go on, because there's for some reason there's that one wiki called villains.
And then
just go on villains and then find a random villain.
We either roll a random villain or we choose one that is forgotten.
No. As in, there is just a wiki for villains. So it'll just be like, oh my god, Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And then...
No. This is we're cooking with this already.
Okay. So characters. All right. So to get a random character, random number between 1 and 80. 23. We've hit 23 a lot.
A lot.
All right, so bear with me a sec.
So we'll do the villain that's closest to number 23?
No, so 23 is the page that we're going to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
then it's on a 6x6 grid, so we usually just roll d6s.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But I reckon we do a little bit of window shopping once we get to 23.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
That was Doom. No. We just missed... Oh, there's Dupe right there. We missed Dupe.
Egghead, who is technically in the MCU.
Who is Egghead?
Elias Starr.
Is Oh, he's someone's dad in some.
It's Ghost's dad.
It's
isn't
Ghost's
it?
dad.
Yeah,
Yes,
she's
yeah,
Ava Star.
Yeah. We
Wait,
could do
Lawrence Fishburne or
No.
There's
Her
like-
real dad.
her real dad is
He
just
gets
like a-
killed.
oh
yeah. It's just
Have
like
you ever even watched Ant-Man and the Wasp?
yeah, but like it's like I've seen many I've seen like 100 movies this year.
I would actually be down to do like not a faithful adaptation, but like do like an egghead that isn't just like a throwaway Ghost's dad. You know what I mean?
yeah, man.
Or
Take Egghead
what
seriously.
What is
El Muerto.
Gato?
Who's just egg?
Yo,
Egg?
pull egg up.
We
Pull
got egg
up.
and eel.
Jamie, pull that
eel
up.
looks like the same color scheme. Also, the other one.
Not this one.
Why
Yeah.
is eel like 3D? Is there like a live action eel?
The complete history and origin has yet to be revealed.
Ooh, what?
Interesting.
Fantastic.
Including this is eel that we're reading. Everybody
okay.
who's listening.
Not egg. I'm less interested.
Group affiliation: The Masters of Evil. So he is a villain.
Yeah, his activities as the eel first led to the clash with heroes like Power Man and Iron Fist.
And
While
3D Man.
He trained to break Hammerhead. The eel was recruited to the new enforcers by that. What's his powers?
Wait, it occasionally says on the side.
Not always.
Not always though. Sometimes it just doesn't.
Oh, go up. It said Nightshade. Hold on. The
Where?
employee of the. Oh, I thought isn't Nightshade like. What's the flower that T'Challa takes?
Wait. Scroll up a little bit more. Scroll up a
Costume or
little bit more.
otherwise,
Up.
Crime
Look
family
down.
and came to dawn. I think he's just like a criminal. He's just like a.
He's just a
hitman.
guy.
He's just
He's
like a
wearing a
I
suit.
assume that his name is the Eel because he's like slippery and
there's
can get
no
away,
power.
right? Like
I like that. I like
in-
that as a villain.
There's the guy in the Watchmen TV show. If you ever watched that, the guy
still
who
need to watch
the
that.
guy who covers himself in baby oil, then slides through the grate in the flies through
I
the drain.
Just
Eel-
take that entire bit.
I take
and
eel
then-
as in like slippery, like evades the law though.
Yeah, but like also physically is like, which is
I'm
interesting.
oily man.
Well, yeah, like he wears a suit that's like constant oiled up.
I do enjoy that because it's also like if you've called yourself Eel, you're probably going to have to explain the logic of your name every time anyone catches you, talks to you, because it's like that doesn't immediately
we
translate
wanna-
of like, oh, he's eel,
Do
so
we
he's
want to look
slippery.
at eel and then see egg as well, and then decide between eel and egg?
I think check on Egg.
Yeah.
Egg looks like a hero to me.
Yeah, he's a bit.
He's a bit of a courageous boy there. He kind of
Hold on. Raised by his father alongside his sister.
group affiliation, the Five. What a great name.
San Diego. Oh, so he's he's out and
It's close. I don't.
joining
He-
the X-Men. Okay.
I see Cyborg there.
Cyclops.
Cyclops.
I'm
losing it.
Cyclops.
He seems to. He's been arrested.
Fabio's mutant ability enables him to generate and project golden-hued balls from his body.
Wait, so they
What?
both have projection powers?
Yeah.
But like one is projecting a dude and the other is projecting golden
No,
eggs.
yeah, lock in Egg. Lock in
Okay.
Egg.
Egg.
Lock it in,
Lock
Greg.
in Egg.
Look at
Oh
that
my
image.
god. Yes,
Look at
lock
that
in
image.
Egg.
Yeah,
lock
that's a good.
in Egg.
So, listeners, we're currently looking at an image of what looks like kind of, if you know the bulletproof costume from Invincible, it is somewhat
Yeah.
similar to that color scheme with the goggles, but much more emphasis on the gray aspects with a big orange circle in the middle
know the-
with a stream of golden eggs coming out of that orange circle.
The Power audience listeners is kind of similar to that guy in X-Men First Class.
Oh,
He's like
Havoc.
Cyclops.
Havoc.
is-
Havoc,
A
yeah.
Havoc, but with golden eggs.
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
out,
Instead
yeah.
of like red Cyclops like energy beams,
I
it's
think
just eggs.
we just make this guy a villain, though.
Yeah.
Can we do a follow-up episode on Egg?
Well, this
I want to do a follow-up
No,
episode on
this
Egg
is,
one day.
This is the egg episode.
This will be the. We're gonna get into a lot of eggs
I
related
like the
stuff.
idea of 3D man. And
I
Egg.
also I like the idea. He's a mutant, so we can actually play with the.
This is how we introduce the mutants
No,
into the
no,
MCU timeline. Is through Egg.
Mutants are technically already in the MCU, but like there's like 5 of them.
This
No,
is
I
what
know,
he
but,
does.
like,
This
we-
is what
but
he
this
does.
is
He
like-
does the
we essentially just sprinkle in another mutant
Yeah,
to build
yeah.
up the mutants. Where
boost the mutant.
He's
Yes.
a metahuman,
no, he's a mutant.
but there's
Call
no
him.
difference. There's no difference.
Yeah, exactly. Old metahuman just makes me think of Flash though, because they use that term.
Yeah,
all
but they
the
use
time.
that. They use that in She-Hulk as well.
I
I've seen all of
I
She-Hulk.
do
I don't
love
remember
the
that.
whole
Yeah.
the whole
I
logic
think they
of like
do
the
with, like-
second you're called metahuman, you're treated fine, and then it's like oh, but mutant.
Can eggs opening be literally?
He's coming
So
out.
can
He's
you make
a
an
trans
omelet?
woman.
So literally, can it be that Egg walks into like a convenience store or something, and then it walks up to the front and was like, "This is a stick up. Like, I need you to give me all the money." And they're like, "You don't have a weapon." And as he's talking, just slowly unbuttoning his shirt.
Oh yeah.
And then it's just like, and then you're like, "Oh, are you threatening me?" Is this a bit? And then he like just opens his shirt, and then a giant golden egg rockets at the cashier and just crashes through the wall. Yeah.
makes that noise.
Yeah. I think that should be his own. Okay, so what is the conflict between Egg and 3D man? Well, so 3D, we didn't quite answer. Are we going with the eye test thing? Because I think it should be more.
I like the eye test.
But he
thing.
doesn't have his glasses.
No,
on. The
but
whole
I
thing is
think-
they come out of his
No,
glasses.
but I think I think it's more
But
like
I think it's more like he's been alone for 6 months, and then finally he gets his glasses changed because he needs a new prescription.
No.
Well, then,
But then
He's gone forever.
no.
Never mind.
No, I think it's more like
Yeah, what happens if his eyes get worse?
No,
Does he just have to
I think
stick
it's
with
more,
Chuck?
I think it's more like he
Chuck glass?
probably hasn't worn the glasses since it happened. Like because they've probably got a stain on it anyway,
Yeah.
and he's like, oh, that's like pieces of my brother, and he's like doesn't know what to do with it, so he just kind of has them.
Yeah.
And then one day he's
Maybe
like,
he wears them for
one
the
day,
Put
anniversary
him on
or
like his
something.
mantle,
Or like-
where
or
it's
like-
like remembering his brother next to a picture of his
Oh,
brother.
that's
Yeah.
fun because it's just Chuck stuck in the glasses
Yeah.
out of the
Well,
mantelpiece.
you could even
Just-
have it. There's like a photo. He's like looking at a photo of them two, and he's like can't really see it. So he puts the glasses back on, and when he goes to put the glasses on, he sees that the outline on the glasses of the shadow outline on the glasses is like similar to the brother outline, and he's like, what? He's
You
like,
can even be putting them on right in front of the picture of his
Yeah.
brother, where it kind of looks like it matches up, and then he's
Yeah.
like trying to he's like squinting and trying to focus.
Yeah.
and then all
he's
of a
like, what
sudden,
is that?
Whoop, and then
Yeah.
he just gets.
And then his brother gets like launched out of the glasses into
Into
the
the-
wall,
yes,
and
yes.
then poof.
I like that. Yeah. No more eye test.
Okay, and then you get
It was funny, but no more.
Because I can see some really cool fight scenes later on where like
Retract
say he
and
doesn't
then back.
say he doesn't have the glasses on, and he's like trying to do like a sneak attack or something. He like quickly puts the glasses on, focuses up, and the brother shoots out
Yes,
with a
with a fist.
punch
Oh, that's
already
great.
coming out.
And then the egg
Yeah.
matches him in mid-air.
Yeah.
And then,
Like in Guardians 2 when it's like Peter and his
Pac-Man,
dad. Yeah.
No, that's great. I think that's fantastic. We also
Yes.
at some point have to have
say that again.
we have to have Hal captured not having access to his glasses.
Yeah.
To add the stakes of like he can't summon Chuck.
Yeah.
I think Egg should be running with a like criminal crowd. I think like Egg should
I
be.
like the idea
part
that
of
he's
the-
just part of a bank heist, and it's kind of in the vein of like he's just one of like it's kind of a Suicide Squad approach of like there's lots of wacky zany characters. He's just the last one that is standing after a bank heist gone wrong,
Yeah.
and so it's more like he's just the villain by default.
Oh,
Out of like a
it's
lineup
like,
of different
it's
antagonists.
like a Reservoir Dog. He's like in a Reservoir Dog situation.
Yeah, so he's
at
kind
the
of
beginning
dealing
of
with
the
his own
movie.
Reservoir Dog style plot, and then suddenly 3D Man is in the way.
Interesting. Okay, so let's say that he, finishes up a bank heist and ends up at a warehouse right afterwards. Then there has to be some next step for him to then for 3D Man to foil, and we have to tie whatever he's doing to their to Chuck and Hal's.
How do we get
Motivations.
someone like 3D? Because 3D Man is ultimately like a regular civilian, right? There isn't really anything
we need to give him a job that would get him
would get him involved in a warehouse. Well, maybe he's a you know what I mean? But like,
No, yeah, because
He's
what
a construction
if
worker or
Hal
something?
just
Like-
works at the warehouse where
Yeah.
they escape to after the
Yeah.
Reservoir Dogs thing, and then 3D Man shows up, and then he's not like Chuck isn't quite the same, and Hal's like, "What's different about you?" And then all he can say really is like, "I just need to help people now. I just need to help people."
Yeah.
We will get a later reveal that he's been suffering in the void of just going through all his trauma, and
Yeah.
what it has done to him is he's just stayed. The only way he stayed sane is being like, "I will fix other people's lives when I get out of here."
Yeah,
now
yeah.
he's out of here.
Or even his like they're both good
wait,
guys.
maybe his like tragic incident is that he didn't step in when someone was being attacked,
that was
and so he's just
that was
constantly
my
seeing
thought.
someone.
My thought was that like
Yeah.
he's not a bad guy at all, but like he's such a good person that like his most shameful moment are like times when he didn't help people, and that's all he's being shown.
Whereas
You
is,
just
like,
easily do that in the opening scene where they're both running, and then someone trips behind them, and then he decides not to help her, and he's like, "I'm just gonna go get to
And then
safety."
he
anyway.
trips as
And then-
well.
No, he doesn't even trip.
Yeah.
He just thinks he's safe, but he's still technically
Yeah.
right in the blast zone of the void. So like during that running bit, he just doesn't help someone or doesn't
Yeah.
help three people, and then you get that
Right.
right in the beginning.
Yeah.
Before he
Okay.
gets voided onto the glasses.
even like I'm sorry, like
Yeah.
like I can't help you.
Yeah, or not even. I'm sorry. I think he needs
I think
more.
I don't know, maybe yeah.
Or disingenuous. Like I can't. Sorry. Like I gotta get out of here. Like whatever it is.
I do like I can't, because then if you have that repeated
do you know
over
what
and
I
over again,
can't.
it will suddenly be I can. My bad. Like
I kind of like the idea that like the guy the other brother
sorry,
How?
hold on.
other aliases Gold Balls.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that
Obviously.
until now.
But like also a group affiliation.
That was for Egg, by the
way,
that
Five.
Nat is reading.
The Five. So,
Anyway.
so I think the Five is
the five
Right,
is the
yeah.
bank
Is the bank heist
So
crew.
we're reading that one of the alias or one of the groups that Egg is affiliated with is the Five. So I think the Five. That's great. The Five are the one. You want to click on the Five, see who they are? Or can we get there?
If we even do that.
You can't.
Just do MCU
MCU,
do
the
Marvel,
Five,
Marvel the Five or whatever.
So we're gonna see what the group the Five is to then see if we can adapt that. We're gonna kill most of them immediately. Watch them be like really important X-Men. Charles Xavier established a group of the Five.
no.
Oh, these are Omega level mutants, aren't they? Hope Summer.
Egg is part of this like.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's a House of X thing. That's why.
It's
Why is it
Tempest,
also the Four now?
Proteus. That's crazy.
Hope Summers can't be a thing, surely. So
I think the 5 is just a thing we use the
we-
name
we-
of.
We
yeah,
use the
we're-
name
we're
of it's not,
reworking the
it's not
Five.
the actual.
Yeah.
Eel on the Five as well.
Yo, Eel's on the Five.
Eel's
Yeah,
on
it's
the
on the
Five?
Five, and it's all people with E. There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
All taken from
We'll
this.
take it.
All taken from this one page. Oh
Yeah.
no, I've lost it. Never mind.
That's right. It's page 23.
Just a
I
guy
remember.
called Eric.
Yeah. But like what I was thinking of is that like so our guy who's not 3D man but is the brother
Hal.
has his glasses are in his locker in one half of the warehouse, like the open bit of the warehouse. He's working. The guys come in and they're basically holding the warehouse up. Being like, nobody fucking
he
leaves.
has
We
to
stay
run to
here
his
till
locker and
we're
then-
staying here till the heat
He has,
dies down.
He has to like die hard
yeah.
to his locker.
And it's a super
Yeah.
low stakes. It's like this doesn't necessarily have to happen. This is like halfway through the movie is when this situation happens. Like, and throughout the movie, you're kind of establishing that like half of his life is
This is a movie now?
going
This is
out,
a movie.
Yeah, is going
That's
out with
fair.
is going out with his brother and like helping people.
trying like very low stakes helping
low stakes
people.
helping
yeah.
people, kind of like the opening of Spider-Man: Homecoming a bit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and then the other half is him going to work, and it's like this guy feels kind of exhausted by the fact that he has to do all the work and follow his brother around, who gets all the glory.
Yeah.
They both kind of get the glory, but like
Yeah.
only the
And
3D
then
man
the way
does.
that you keep it interesting is that during that first half of the movie, we're also cutting
To the
to Egg and the bank heist happening, like them.
Or we're cutting
planning
to them. We're cutting to the planning
planning
of the
of
Hank
it and all that
the
stuff,
Hank
yeah.
heist.
Hank heist. No, that's perfect.
Yeah.
And then maybe like little less than halfway through.
Are we just going to say bank, or are we going to try and play with it a bit? Has anything big happened in Los Angeles in the Marvel universe?
No,
I know San Francisco. There's the Ant-Man and the Wasp stuff, but like,
And also, I mean Venom, but that's not the MCU.
Yeah.
It's a multiverse. thing.
Los Angeles, not really. I think. I can't. Is She-Hulk lost? She-Hulk might be Los
She-Hulk
Angeles.
might be.
yeah,
LA.
it
Yeah,
is.
She-Hulk is
Yeah,
Los
because Megan Thee Stallion is
Yeah.
in there. As opposed to Megan
forgot.
a Stallion.
Yeah, so I like.
Just any old stallion.
There's also like not that like the only other thing really set in Los Angeles is the second season of the Peggy Carter show,
Oh,
Agent Carter.
Agent Carter. Yeah, but that's more of a Hollywood thing than it is a.
never mind. Just a bank then. At this point,
Well, we can.
I'm just thinking like, why not? Well, like
to add a little bit more,
a little bit of spice.
zhuzh, yeah.
I mean, you could. I mean, we've already done it in another episode. In fact, we did it in our April episode that they're stealing from the damage control vault from.
That's literally
Homecoming.
what popped in my head. Is
Yeah.
Right.
But that's
We, like-
New York still, anyway.
Yeah, but like you assume that
Why
they're
does
all over,
everything
right?
happen in you? You know
That's
what?
a Marvel thing.
I'm now
It-
thinking about Brave New World. It makes more sense that Miami line because everything does happen in New York,
yeah.
and therefore any other major town
It would be.
is just like nothing happens
yeah.
here. Like,
no, because you can't do adamantium because that's Brave New World. Like you can't be like they're stealing.
It's after
adamantium.
that.
What?
I suppose
Yeah,
this is
you
after
You said that you could do that. They're stealing. You could do that. It's a bank heist, and they've stolen adamantium.
no, that
Like, there's
actually
like
makes
a-
sense because LA would probably be the first like dock area where you
Yes,
would have all
yes.
the adamantium come from.
Alright.
So it'd be like, oh, the fresh shipment of
Is it
adamantium.
too? Is it
in
too
town.
repetitive though? That there was all about like stealing the adamantium and all that stuff in Brave New World.
I
though?
reckon because this is more like here is a 2-minute bit of this is what they're taking. Moving
Yeah.
on, it's kind of like this isn't really like the core MacGuffin. This is more like the driving force MacGuffin for 2 seconds.
Oh, we can also drop.
So-
You know who? Oh, you know who they're stealing from? Who's the? They get the docks are coming in from Celestial Island.
right.
Or the
Yeah.
boats are docking from Celestial Island.
Once
and
again,
then
making Eternals relevant.
they then are at the docks passing it off to a buyer,
right.
and the buyer is Essex.
Oh,
Who's
Yeah.
it?
Essex Corp.
Essex.
They're like evil mutant.
It's Mr. Sinister, Mr. Sinister's
Yo,
corporation.
okay,
Yeah.
I'm in. I'm
yeah,
in.
yeah. So they're
So, like,
stealing. They're
it's a
stealing
way-
from Mr. Sinister.
Yeah, and it's a way of doing
that's
Mr.
great.
It's a way of doing like this is what Mr. Sinister would be kind of like in a world where it's not overrun by mutants. So
Where,
it-
yeah,
so
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
His whole thing isn't he's still evil,
Yeah.
but he's not like evil in a.
He's evil in a real world way, where he's just like
rather
a
than
campy.
campy.
And then like you leave the door open so that Marvel can go back to him after
Or maybe
the,
we go
Exactly.
back to
after
it,
the
because Mr.
reboot.
Sinister's cool. And
Yeah, I think we get an end credits because obviously low stakes movie.
Yeah.
The end credit scene in this one is Egg probably makes it out of it. Maybe he makes it into prison, and then we get a
Mr. Sinister,
like a henchman from Mr. Sinister going and like breaking his hand or something, or like breaking his arm, like a punishment for trying to steal from him or whatever. Because I still want Egg
removes
alive.
the egg from his chest and no.
Well, that's his whole power is that they come out of his chest. I mean, I would love to see a Mr. Sinister cameo at the end as an end credit scene. I think that's a good way to cap.
So what kind of eggs is he shooting?
It's
Are
gold.
It's like gold, yeah. Well, they can't be real gold because otherwise, why the fuck are they stealing adamantium?
I would have called him Goose personally if he's laying golden eggs.
I would assume that they like dissolve, right? Or maybe they're gold in color.
There.
I think they're gold in color, but like when they hit stuff, they crack like real eggs.
Yeah.
So like they're not made of gold in a way that's tangible, and they dissolve.
That would be quite funny if you've got a character that can literally spawn gold and then decides to go for a bank heist. It's just like
it's very stupid. But I think everyone keeps bringing that up to him. They're like, you shoot
be
gold.
like,
He's
guys, it's not real gold.
It's like fine, look, you go try to sell this, and then the guy's like off. And then, like, you can cut away to something else. And then when he cuts back, the guy's like, yeah, dissolve. He's like, yeah. You think I would be here? You think I would be here?
You had to go through all that. You
Why
couldn't
did you
just
think I'm
take
in
my
this
word for
dynamic?
it.
Yeah. Dude, you wasted my time. Like, you wasted your own time.
Okay, so let's get a little bit back into 3D Man himself, Chuck, when he's out of... So we've gotten he didn't help someone, and then he's so intent on, I can help.
Yeah.
The first half is him helping people.
I think it's also
is it too boring if he's trying to get the glasses for the whole of the second act? Like, what happens when he gets the glasses?
I think also with the I can just to get to that and then get back to your thing. Yeah. I think the I can is interesting as well because he is kind of sacrificing his brother's time. He's kind of working on the good faith of his brother, being like, I have missed my brother. I want to spend as much personal time with him as possible. I will always go and help him save the day or whatever. Yeah. But he's like drying him up. Like he's working like 9 to 5 shifts at the dog, and then going
and then being like, the watch guy. He's basically the watch.
So in the I'm going to help people, he's ruining his brother's.
I think you can definitely can do a bit of like
his arc is that he realizes that.
Yeah.
Is he the married one? Who's the one that's got a wife?
I love how you're checking eggs.
So Hal is the one with the wife. So like I think you could have it that he has a wife who, like the Jesse Pinkman in Invincible. Powerplex,
right?
Where his wife
Spoilers
is like
for season 3.
His wife is like surprisingly supportive of the whole thing. Whereas like other depictions of that type of character would have a like spouse who's like
I get it, but you're
going too far. It's like someone who's like, no, like you should do this. You lost your brother and now you have him back. Absolutely, I understand you spending as much time as you want.
Hal's probably hoping for the wife to say maybe
tone it down.
Yeah,
he's probably hoping for an out a little bit, whereas like
and she's just too supportive.
Yeah,
god damn it, women.
Great.
No, but like, and then I think with the amount of time that he's away from the brother's not in it, I think that's probably equivalent to the amount of time that in Iron Man 3 he goes without having the suit.
Right. Yeah.
So like maybe like 20 minutes to. Like, there's like I think the fun of like him going for the glasses and then being like
it's longer than 20 minutes in Iron Man 3. Sure.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, like
I guess he's also like I'm getting bits and pieces of my Iron Man.
So like in terms of the like he's like, oh, where are the glasses? Oh, they're in my locker, and the locker is all the way on the other side of the warehouse, and there's 5 guys, and they're all armed, and it's kind of like a little stealth segment of like
I like
get through.
I like that Hal gets a moment
like,
to shine and outsmart them.
If we're going for the 5 are Reservoir Dogs, we need them to have a Reservoir Dogs intro thing in a Five Guys restaurant instead of in a cafe. And
you use the term "we have to."
We have to.
Guys, I had one idea. We have to do it.
I think one of them should be a scroll. To one of the
Spice
5.
it up.
One of the 5 should be a scroll.
And that's part of the thing. Is that's how they get people in.
Yeah.
That's actually such a cool concept of being like,
A bank.
well, we need money too.
A scroll works for the miners on Adamantium Island.
Yeah.
Not Adamantium, Celestial Island. That brings it,
yeah.
Cool. Oh yeah, I think they do the heist. It goes sideways because they didn't realize they were stealing from Mr. Sinister. They end up in the warehouse. Everyone's armed. He has to kind of use his knowledge of the warehouse and also just use his wits to show that he actually is the brains of the operation to outsmart a few of them, and then he gets caught by Egg just as he makes it to his locker. You think it's not going to go well. Right as he reaches into the locker, Egg fires an egg at him, and then he puts on the glasses, and then you get the moment where
you get the brothers moment.
into the egg, and then 3D Man is there, and then you get your cool action set piece where all of the 5 get to fight 3D Man.
Yeah.
And you get them, then they finally make up, and now he's listening. Maybe he wasn't listening to Hal's advice on how to handle situations, and now he is listening to Hal's advice, and then they go back and forth.
Because Hal's basically his spotter for the whole thing.
He's
like, dude, behind you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the whole. It's his whole thing because he's not the one with powers.
And then I like the idea also that Hal gets to be the one to save the other hostages while he's fighting the actual people, and so they become this kind of duo where he's like, I'm doing the boring grunt work of getting people out, but I'm saving people.
How does the activation of the glasses work?
He has to focus on.
So if he's saving people, he still has to strain his eyes to make it.
No,
once he's out, I think.
Yeah, and then he pops back in So I would assume that it's
but why would he not just stay out if that's the case?
Let's do
because I would assume that I would say the glasses have to be
worn.
I
get. It's just that I want to get that logic.
Let's do a 30-minute time limit. That's the easiest thing.
Yeah, or I would just say that the glasses have to be on for it to work, and nobody else can wear the glasses as well.
Yeah, but then he could just keep the glasses on always, though.
Okay.
But he has to sleep
one dumb idea
and work and do all of that stuff. That's why is it he can't wear the glasses when he's working.
Yeah. I like that. Okay.
This may be completely illogical, but I kind of like the idea that he has to keep his eyes open, and the second he blinks.
That would be too.
And so it's also the physical exertion of I have to put eye drops in just to make sure that this guy has 5 more minutes, and then
that would be a bit difficult to try. I do think we should talk about what we think 3D Man's powers should be.
I think you get your generic super strength.
But I also think he should have similar to Ghost.
I like that.
I think similar to Ghost makes sense. I think also he's not really real, and therefore he can't really get hurt.
Yeah, but
it's kind of my logic of it. It's he's kind of sacrificed being alive to have
But then I think he also should have have you ever played the game Superliminal? Yeah. So the perspective. He can he can do camera perspective tricks because it's 3D.
Yeah. I like that. So it's kind of like the way that Ant-Man has a 1-up in some fights. Is that he can drink and recycle.
This is he can
Can we say that having 3D Man out of the glasses is it mentally taxing on Hal? So as long as he can mentally withstand a headache that's going on, his eyes can start getting bloodshot.
Maybe visually you get a bit of bloodshot.
And he's
vision,
and then that way it's really dramatic that he's trying to hold on as long as he can to not pass out
without it being literally if you blink. Because then that's too far. But then
he's trying not to pass out at the end, and then so that he can actually finish.
And then you can give him a nosebleed during the fight. Where it's
I think maybe last fight he's on the edge of maybe being permanently blind or something silly, and that's kind of
interesting.
That's we need to actually
and then at the end they figure out a system where it's all this
you get the weekends. Stupid.
No, I like that. What was the perspective thing? Can we go more into that?
I do like that.
So the idea that depending on the perspective of Hal, where he's looking, he can potentially do weird perspective tricks where you can basically teleport him or something similar to that thing, and also change size as well would be my.
I like the idea.
I find that really interesting, just because how do you do that visually in a movie as well? How do you demonstrate that?
You have to POV from Hal's glasses.
Yeah, but how do you make that dynamic? I find it interesting, but my brain.
I think you would just need to use a lot of the camera doesn't the camera stays still, but can pan around and move and look. With
a bit of something there.
And it would kind of be similar to when you were a kid and used to when you were in a car and just imagine somebody running alongside. It's that kind of thing is happening, but it's he's
and it's almost like this is now your imaginary friend.
We could also
from your perspective.
We could also the straining and we could add in an element. I don't know if this is too difficult. We could add an element that he has to be in Hal's line of sight.
That's what I was going to say. Is it like if Hal looks away, he gets?
Can you look at that? That's funny.
Yeah. So if you're the 3D man, and I look like that, you just get
you stay center vision. You stay center.
Yeah, you just get launched across the side because
which is really fun because then you can have a scene where Hal has to like look up so that he can fling upwards to then like grab someone
and then look down
and then Hal is part of the action of like
because you can also be like
because it's also kind of the momentum if he's doing like a big
jump. I need to get up to the 80th floor of this
Hal,
building.
Get me up there. Yeah. But I'm not gonna be able to see you, so you're gonna have to just stay up there. Yeah.
I like the idea of if you play with momentum with that as well. So if you do like a small crane with your head, then it's not as much of a jump. If you're doing a massive leap.
Or the idea of like, you know, something's falling from the sky and then like you just basically put him underneath it and then don't move your head.
You steady your head.
Do you know how I was
his neck starts hurting.
What I would do to make some of these shots extra dynamic is that I would have reaction shots back on Hal, like just moving his head and stuff, but like in the glasses, I would have the fight scene being shown, like you CG in the fight scene onto the glasses. So you can still see it, but he's like,
that's very, very
so
good.
it's like when he turns his head, you see it like flings him across.
Even when you're kind of showing bits of what Hal's doing in the back of a fight, you're still seeing elements of the fight through the glass. Yeah, I do
love
like that.
the idea of that because also that means that Hal would have to, if there's any like Avengers level threats in the future, that Hal has to be there. And like it's just like he's like on like, could you imagine Hal in Endgame like on the battlefield and like trying to survive?
So do you know what the ending of season 3 is for Freaky
Feige? We're coming up to the end of the show in general. So we've got an episode. We'll have our episode 3 before Fantastic Four comes out.
Yeah,
and then after that,
which will be
we are doing a 2-parter on our Doomsday and Secret Wars.
With
our characters that we
created
instead
Ben's
of
there. Dino Boy is there.
Oh, that's cool.
And like rather than
and it's like it's going to be this like sitting down and be like, okay, we've got all these characters. How do we logistically make a story out of this thing? Which we tried.
Fun.
We did that for Kang. We did a Kang Dynasty episode because that movie doesn't exist anymore. And that was a lot of fun.
That was great.
Being like, okay, you've got like all of these characters that would have been in this movie, and this plotline, and these threads. How do you
stitch that together?
There were moments where Tom was like, and then this should happen, and then I had to be like, no. 20 minutes ago we said this, and if this doesn't,
if this doesn't happen, then this doesn't work.
Oh, this is how people get headaches with ensemble casts. Okay, right.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so I'm glad that 3D Man it
lives on.
Hal and Chuck will return in Avengers Doomsday.
Yeah. Maybe they'll die.
Who knows?
Oh my god, the idea of Hal
dies
dying?
and then it like sends.
Well, Hal dies and then Chuck is just stuck.
Stuck in the void place forever.
No, you get this is going a little bit in the future, but can I pitch you something for 3D Man and Doomsday? Man. You got to get Doom to take the glasses off and step on them and hold Hal by the throat and then throw him back to the Avengers.
Oh.
And you get...
I like the idea that there's the Avengers.
Wait a minute.
How do we even assemble the Avengers?
I think that might be the intro. Like
that's
the
intro
Thanos
fight. Moment. That's the Thanos moment.
That remains untrue, but it's 3D Man. I like the idea that Hal... Okay, just pitching you something to start your Doomsday.
Yeah.
But like... Hal survives the interaction. Like basically, Hal's like, "Oh, we can stop this guy," and he brings Chuck out, and then Chuck's like trying to hit Doom, and Doom flings from the side, and then Doom is not an idiot, just sees the glasses, crushes them. Chuck dies, and then he just flicks Hal off to the side, and now you get Hal as your Ant-Man in Endgame running around being like, "This thing is happening." So you get Hal having no 3D man,
and he's still got the experience of being a spotter, so he can just be a spotter for an ensemble cast versus being
1 second, I'm just gonna write that down.
It's recorded, Tom. Tom, you'll listen back when you edit.
Do you know what's amazing? What would be really fun is if I don't know if are you doing anything at the end of that where like you actually record some like scene by scene what's going to happen or anything?
We don't normally do that.
We probably won't go full story.
If you want to just, if you want to just,
wait,
when you do that,
it'd be funny if you do that full narration. I knew you were fucking going for it.
I do the intro where I just do that opening scene, and then you guys jump into the podcast.
You just do a dramatic reading of
that opening.
Yeah.
I like the idea of cutting back and forth from that. So you do like 20 minutes of Tom and I being like, how the fuck do we combine this? And then we almost crack it, and then you go, interior.
There we go.
See,
There we go.
okay.
If you get Rue to read one if it's involving one of their characters that they're
Yeah.
on for.
Wait, dramatic readings would be funny.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so you're Dino Boy, and you've got your character's motivations.
That you want to kill Doom. All right.
I actually feel like we kind of cracked. We cracked this.
Like
this
egg,
egg
like
crack.
many eggs.
I feel like I'd watch this movie.
Yeah, and then so wrapping up the movie, how does Hal and his brother, who I've forgotten the name of, Chuck,
They find
Hal
a
and
magic
Chuck-
ring
No,
on the floor.
How do they?
And there's
no,
an
but
alien next to it.
How do they? Like, what's their arrangement after this, where they've got to like have like a more healthy?
Chuck gets the weekends.
I think.
So he's like this whole weekend, like,
Please, I'm not alive.
I
You get the
think-
weekends.
I think that they figure out something where Hal is able to make like. Actually, I think it's quite funny if Hal basically just learns how to relax really well. Like he's just like when he's not mentally straining to be the spotter, like he just joins like a spa or something,
Yeah.
and like he's like so he's really good at decompressing afterwards, and then
or even just like,
Well, if you went
or
to
even
like a
just
deprivation chamber,
would
would that change anything?
floating.
I'm naked near me.
Line of sight, remember?
Oh yeah, like
You have to be like in the
never mind, scratch that.
No, but I could definitely see like the idea of being like you have like a bit at the end where it's like he's learning ways to have his brother be out of the glasses, but it not to be as mentally straining, and like just by doing like almost like beginning of Incredible Hulk, showing all of the like
meditations,
techniques,
yeah.
the meditation
Yeah, yeah,
techniques
yeah.
and breathing techniques. That he's
Yeah, I like
learning.
that a lot.
I wouldn't be surprised if at the end they go to one of the more sciencey people. Like I get the whole meditation path, but I feel like there is a logic there where they would be like, we have a scientific health condition. Why not go to like I don't know, who is there left at that point? Because that's the point.
I think he'd probably go to the New Avengers and be like, "Yo, this is kind of your fuck up."
What, the Thunderbolts guys?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then Sentry has to be like, my bad.
Actually, that could be quite emotional. Of like him having to go back to New York,
Yeah.
and then then
Yeah.
trying to get into Avengers Tower, and then like whatever Joe Schmo that they hired as a security guard is like, we're not letting you into
he's like,
Avengers Tower, and then he just like and then he just does that, and then you just hear like Yelena like let him up.
Yeah.
that was Alexi, but
I do like that.
That's our post
I
credit.
do like the idea of him
Or-
beating
or-
the shit out of the security guard and then being like, he can come
not
up.
even that. Actually,
It's the
scratch-
same joke as like I already we're gonna the Valentina
The
like
Valentina
I,
joke,
yeah,
but
I was
no,
gonna let you in.
I like that, but also let's rewind. They get turned away from the security guard, and then we just cut up to the tower inside, and then they're just doing the trick. It's the jumping
And he's
trick.
like, and then like, why don't you come in? It's like I actually can't step forwards anymore because he loses line of sight of me. Or like it's like what you do. It's like he's like a sniper where he's like he goes onto another rooftop. And he's got like a spyglass or binoculars, and then he's got
that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
and then he's like, phoom, and then he's like being shot into
Yeah.
the room like
So
that.
the mid
like a
credit,
projection, like you can kind of see like the projection of
Yeah.
the
the
end of the movie is him
Is him,
going
like-
to New York, and the
Yeah.
mid credit scene is all of that, and the mid credit scene ends with Alexi going, "New member."
yeah,
I like the idea of them, the breathing exercises not being just him and his brother. It's them just trying things in Avengers Tower, being like, have you tried just
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
or even, like,
massaging
Bucky
your
would be
eyes? It's
quite
like, what
good
do you
with
mean
trauma.
massage my eyes?
Bucky would be good with trauma.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
And then we
is a
still
therapist.
get
Just-
the end credit scene of Mr. Sinister killing Egg in prison.
Yeah.
unless he
no,
just breaks
I
his
like
knees.
that, yeah.
I think he kills him in
Do
prison.
we
I
want
think
do we
kill him,
want
yeah.
Egg for Avengers Doomsday?
No,
No.
Kill Egg.
Nah, kill Egg.
yeah,
No
Cool.
more Egg.
that was
And he says your egg has been cracked.
I'm about to make an omelet.
All right.
that was good.
That was very good.
That was very good.
And I pitched you a little bit of an intro to
Yeah.
your Doomsday.
man.
yeah,
Yeah.
giving us
Give him some
some
ideas,
help.
some ponderings.
This remains untrue. Breaks glasses.
It's like no neck, no nothing.
why was that so disappointing?
Yeah.
And then it cuts over to Chuck like, oh, this hurts so much more than I thought it would.
Oh yeah, because what's that like in the void world? Being like,
Oh, God.
like, oh god,
Everything's cracking.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Ooh,
Not for me to answer.
not good, not good.
You could even you show like when Thanos snaps and then it cuts straight to the soul world thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You do that where it's like the glasses like crack and then it cuts to like inside with
Yeah.
with 3D man like Chuck getting like ripped apart as like that
Oh.
dimension
Well, like
just doesn't
space
exist.
itself is just being
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Or it's like being or the space gets crushed smaller and smaller and twists, and like,
and then you zoom out,
kind of like if you're in a ball
and it comes
of paper,
out of the shattered glass.
Yeah, it's like, and then it's like, if you imagine the glass like really close up to the camera, and then it pulls away and it's just in Doom's hand, and then it just falls to the floor.
And then Hal is just like, no! And then he tries to throw a punch, and he just hits his metal helmet, breaks his own hand, and then Doom's like, pathetic, and flicks him aside.
But doesn't kill him.
Exactly, yes. Then he can go run around and warning people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Do you have anything you would like to promote?
Are
we ending here?
I think we are ending
here.
Like a book of some kind, or
yeah,
a book of some kind, maybe.
Yeah, I've just recently published a YA novel called Ghoul Fools. So you can get that on Amazon. I'm sure. I don't know if you guys can link it in the.
No, I can try.
Yeah. Okay. If it's not in the description, just just look up Ghoul Fools as in GHOUL.
You were going to be like, do you guys in the UK have Amazon.com?
No, it is on. It's on.
No,
UK.
it's on UK as well.
It's on UK Amazon. It's on US Amazon. It's on a few other Amazons. Just go to the Amazon rainforest. I'm sure you'll be able to find a copy somewhere.
Imagine.
No, but yeah, it's been a long time coming. I'm really excited that it's out. So. Yeah, it's
awesome.
Cool. So I think that's it. I mean, I have a YouTube channel.
Where can we find you?
Yeah, my YouTube channel is Bri Power, just my name without the space in it, and everything. Every other social is Perpetual Child. Poet Punch directed and produced my stand-up special, so you can go ahead and check that out over my YouTube channel. And every other social I have is private, so don't find me there.
Don't stalk me, losers.
I think I have a Blue Sky
This guy
account.
said an incorrect thing about egg. I'm gonna crack.
Crack him.
Thank you guys for having me. It was a lot of
It's
fun.
been a pleasure having you as well.
Yeah.
All right,
Alrighty.
and we'll see you
Bye,
guys next
Bye,
episode.
Kevin.
Bye, Kevin.